09, and I'm calling this meeting to order. This is the Economic Development Committee meeting, Monday, March 17. And second on our agenda for tonight is to review and approve the minutes from February 2024. Which is part of our packet here.
It's 2025, that should be.
2025, February 2025, sorry,
Oh,
little agenda
2025.
typo.
Yep.
No big deal. Any feedback on these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Our last meeting.
All right, so we have a motion by Doug, second by Garrett for approving the minutes from the February 17, 2025 meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Andy, what say you? Andy says yes.
I wasn't
Okay.
there, but my internet is also acting up. Just FYI, all the good things right now. So yeah, just
That's hilarious. Okay, next on our agenda, and so the motion passes.
Yes.
Next on our agenda is the Monmouth Museum facade funding request. Reagan, you want to fill us in on this?
Yes, so the Monmouth Museum came to us in the fall asking for part of this project for the items that are listed in the project information. They wanted part of it for phase one, and then they were going to do phase two in the following year. They did not start that project, and since then, their builder has come back to them and said that he can do the entire project in the spring, imminently. And so basically, they're asking for the rest of the money
Okay.
to do the project all at once. And he was a little concerned because he knew that he needed to have it approved before the builder started, but I told him essentially part of the project was already approved. So if he starts, then he'll be doing that part of the project. And, you know, the committee will look at the rest of this. Even though we're truly looking at it as one
Right.
project at this point.
Right. And so I see on the application that they are going to be taking care of some rotted trim boards, soffits, preparing the building to be painted. And so they're requesting, last time they requested a $2,000 grant that was matched by a $2,000 from the museum. This time they're asking for a $3,750 grant. And that's going to be matched by the museum as well. And it will be a continuation. I can also see that the contractor that they are using is the same one as last time, and he's a reputable person from Litchfield. Bit of a character, he'd be the first to tell you, but he's reputable, been around for a while.
And this
He's
was
done
the,
work for us.
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
I was going to say, I think Larry had struggled to find other people to bid on the project too. And that, as was the case, I mean, this was, again, the same project from October. So
Right.
at that time, he had indicated it was, that he wasn't able to get all of the quotes that we typically like to see.
Well, it's pretty small potatoes if it's $3,700. Yeah. And we're only in for it for 50%. I'm not sure that I feel the need personally to be a super stickler about going to bid for a $3,700 expenditure. Thoughts?
I agree.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. Garrett,
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
we have a first from Garrett
Second,
and a second from Doug to approve the application for phase two of the facade improvement grant for phase two of the museum's repairs on the blacksmith shop on Maple Street. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor? We have unanimous support. Moving right through our agenda. Item number 4, the Maine Downtown Affiliate Program Exploration.
And we touched on this a little bit last month when we were talking about the status of our goal setting. I've been looking into different ways to kind of engage the different groups in Monmouth. And Monmouth has an amazing community of people who take upon themselves these wonderful projects, whether it's Apple Fest or the beach party or, you know, I mean, you name it, you know, the 5K, all of the different events that happen in Monmouth. And so I've been looking for an organized way to maybe see if these groups are interested in kind of coming together in a more organized and community-oriented way that would also work towards building up Monmouth's not physical infrastructure, but just kind of organizing power. And one of those programs is the Maine Downtown Affiliate Program. And I had provided a link if anyone was able to go on it beforehand. But basically what I'm looking to get feedback from you guys about is I'm interested in setting up a meeting of, you know, the Larrys, of the, you know, I guess Dan would be one, probably Dennis or other people who are just very involved in these types of activities and others. Hopefully some other business owners, people who are involved in the downtown, anyone who would just be interested in kind of looking at organizing opportunities and ways to market Monmouth in a more cohesive way. And the thing that I don't know that, I know that Monmouth does not qualify as a downtown affiliate candidate at this point. But what I like about this program is that it has these 4 different areas with which the community can organize around and kind of focus on. And this type of thing would also be, I mean, just like we fund these projects now through TIF revenues, this type of project would be eligible for TIF revenues around economic development. And so it is, the basic tenet of a downtown affiliate program is that it's volunteer-led. So what I'm thinking is that I would propose a meeting, gather people who might be interested, explain what it's about, create a structure for some number of sessions if people were interested, and see kind of if it took off in Monmouth. But you guys know the community better than I. And so.
If I'm Dan Roy, what would be in it for me?
And maybe this already happens, but I would say some organizing, some joint marketing. Again, this group, I also think Age Friendly would probably be
Yeah.
involved in this, and
Trails Committee, maybe?
Trails, yeah, I mean, just other
Yeah, cool.
groups,
Very bad.
and use that kind of as a collective voice when going to the select board or lobbying on behalf of business. It's really meant to be kind of a, as the name indicates, a downtown focused program. So kind of this part of Monmouth,
Mhm.
you know, which I think is something that people struggle with promoting. And again, there's groups that all do it separately, but
Mhm.
wouldn't it be nice if the, the main downtown, I mean, the Monmouth Downtown Association, had a calendar of their events, which included beach party and,
Right.
you know,
Mayfair.
Mayfair and Apple Fest and all the things that happen
Right.
in Monmouth.
I'm interested to hear what other folks have to say. I think the reception would be like, give me something concrete for us to do.
Mhm.
And I have a suggestion for that. Because I think there's a really cool tie-in from what you presented at our last meeting with the website potential.
Mhm.
And if instead of calling it, kind of a affiliate group, it's just a group getting together to help design the website. Group of community leaders who we're thinking about, recommending a redesign of the website or maybe just augmenting the existing website for the town, which means, sort of putting this front face on what already exists, right? And including Dennis, I think would be super because Dennis has got the skills probably to do it potentially in-house. But we need some community buy-in, some suggestions about what that website might look like, what sort of functions might be there, what sort of pictures might be there. How do we put an external facing website for Monmouth up? That doesn't take away from what already exists. What already exists is perfectly functional and utilitarian, but not particularly elegant.
So this is beyond like what we do, there's a Monmouth Monitor that Dennis already does that.
Yeah. So he does, that's a newsletter. I don't know, were you at the meeting when Reagan demoed the website from Monson?
Yeah,
Was it the last
That was
meeting or
last
maybe the
meeting.
meeting before that?
Doug was here, yeah.
Yep. Well, anyway, the impressive thing about Monson is
Yes.
that they have this website that is professionally, clearly someone that's.
And ours is not,
Ours works great, but it's not.
It's not for visitors
It's not for visitors, it's
or
for year
newcomers
rounders,
or something, or.
right? It's for those of us who want to figure out where's the ordinance on dog poop? Right? As opposed to people who are passing through and they want to know what is there to do in Monmouth? Or what's it like to live here? Right? Those are questions that we really don't think about too much as year-round people.
And I'll just say, part of this, it does have a process, and part of the process is identifying kind of the roots of the community. And they give suggestions like, historical or agriculture or arts or and I'm giving examples, which Monmouth could be any one and all of those
Right.
three, for example, but there's many different, pedestrian friendly, blah, 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 blah. And those are the types of things that you would start building this website or marketing campaign, which I think it was truly what we're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
Around, but that would be up to the group to kind of create that.
Yeah.
Um,
I would make it super concrete. Because if you don't boil it down to, like, Dan Roy's a busy guy. Someone like Dan Roy is gonna be like, get to the point, tell me what you need. What am I gonna get out of this? And what's this gonna look like? And do a demo of the Monson or a couple of other towns around Maine that have really good websites for visitors and say, all right, we wanna make Monmouth's thing like this, but make it for Monmouth. Right? And here's what it could be. Here's the realm of possibilities. But we don't want to, just slap lipstick on a pig. Because it's gotta be Monmouth. And nothing worse than prescribing something that everybody hates.
I think it's a good idea. So I'm looking on this website, you're talking about going through this mdf.org.
Yeah.
So part of it says, and maybe I just need an idea what this is, but there is a financial kind of, you need to retain a director. And we'll need to dedicate town resources to hire and retain.
So there's two levels of Maine downtown centers. That is I think that's a full-blown Maine downtown center.
Okay.
And then below that is Maine downtown affiliate program, which is basically all volunteer, no paid staff.
And that's the
Community led, but the foundation, the building blocks of how you build up your downtown are the same. It's just kind of the scale.
Right.
That like Gardner's a Maine downtown community, Winthrop's an affiliate, Augusta's a downtown community. They have a full-time
Right.
Augusta downtown director,
Right.
for example. So that's kind of the difference. And they do that so that different communities can kind of come in where is appropriate based on their size and population, probably.
So there are expenses to the town if it's an affiliate program?
No. Again, it's just all volunteer led and for our purposes, expenses that would be coming from this type of program, for example, would be eligible for TIF funding because it's all economic development.
Right.
Is that your day's quota?
No, this is half my day's quota.
Well, hopefully it's the second
I
half.
was gonna say, I drink a whole gallon when I exercise. I was like, what is he referring to? Oh, my water jug. My very stylish water jug, yeah.
Andy, your thoughts?
I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea. But I do just wonder that's going to be realistic in our town. Just reading through the website there, I mean, some of these meetings, they're saying, they would want to see like 50 to 100 people attend. I mean, we had 3 non-committee members attend our last comp plan meeting. That was supposed to be a public meeting. So I just, I do just wonder how much community engagement there will be. I do also wonder a little bit about the I mean, they're talking about a diverse mix of, businesses and whatnot downtown. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I know that's the point is to foster businesses, but do we have enough to meet their requirements? Anyway.
No, really good points, Andy. And I don't know the answer to that. So there's usually, you have to apply to become an affiliate, and that even takes, at least a year to do. I mean, they have an application process. You have to go to a meeting about criteria. And I guess my point or my thought is that even without ever becoming an affiliate program, would there be interest in creating a group of volunteers where there's a subcommittee that is for Apple Fest and us, which, you know, would basically be the same people who are already involved in it, and a subcommittee that is the beach party. But just kind of have a group that is unified and outward facing, and as Ken is pointing out, like, maybe that would be the Monmouth Downtown Events Association or something like that. Would there be any value to it? I don't know. But as I said, what I do see is just a lot of what I perceive as disparate groups doing really great programming, but don't really seem to be particularly coordinated or connected. And I just see that as a potential lost opportunity for marketing purposes.
Hmm. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, it may not, you know, there just may not be enough interest. People are busy. This is another meeting and another committee. But I don't know. Some people find marketing to be really fun and promoting to be enjoyable. So I'm appreciating the feedback.
Good, thoughts?
Well, the two events that I'm mostly involved in are Mayfair and Apple Fest.
Hmm.
The, I don't know, having them, having another meeting for all the people involved to participate in would be probably, yeah. It already, I mean, the Apple Fest business, I'm a museum trustee and it goes on for a couple of months. It starts in the summer and they have meetings practically every week, organizing things. Mayfair is not that cumbersome. Just the Friends of the Library that do that. And,
Don't forget about Monmouth Fair.
I mean, any fishing derbies that are happening.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like the Jack Traps
Yeah.
Fishing Derby. There's one. I
I
know
think,
that,
I think there's a need to get everyone in the broader sense, kind of like coordinating to kind of market, but I think I'm having a tough time trying to justify another meeting. It'd be more like somebody who is entrepreneurial or interested in talking with people separately or something like that. That would probably be a little more helpful, as opposed to a large group trying to distill something down.
feels kind of top down.
Yeah.
But I think if you put it in terms of bottom-up approach, which is make it an ad hoc thing to start and say, hey, we want to design a front-facing website. And would you guys be interested in helping us do that? Because we want the fire department to have some part of the website. And we want Mayfair to have some part of the website. And we want, go to each organizer and say, would you guys be interested in a piece of this website? And if so, can you come to this meeting and tell us what piece?
Because there's nothing like that, right? I mean, is there any type of community calendar in Monmouth?
I mean, we got the organizational calendar, which is date driven, and it doesn't really, it just tells you what's going on what particular date. Doesn't really visually tell you what's happening.
there's all this theater stuff. I mean, not just there
Yeah.
in Monmouth, but also.
Oh, community theater, there's another one.
Community theater.
Theater Monmouth and the community, Monmouth, community players. Yep. Yeah, we do have a lot of independent parts and, I think people would be interested if you said, we can get you some free advertising for your group and your event. But you gotta come to one meeting, maybe two, to talk a little bit about what that means. And then, and then the foot's in the door. And maybe it turns into, a once a year thing where we update the website or, we talk about I'm sure there are other groups that we've missed here tonight. New groups or whatever, like the Age Friendly group didn't even exist 2 years ago. So,
What under who is Dennis doing the messenger for? Is that like
the town,
the town has hired him to do the messenger?
yep, he gets a stipend for that.
Okay.
It's called the messenger, not the monitor.
Monitor.
It's the
the
monitor.
monitor?
No, I think it's the messenger.
That was the
Messenger?
messenger.
I think,
Messenger?
let's look on the website.
Pretty sure it's messenger.
Let's all Google, let's all look at our phones.
Monitor sounds like a newspaper.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's messenger.
I'm just wondering, like, what potential exists with what's already here to just develop it more rather than creating a whole other entity. Anyway, that just might be another option. If there's a way to like double down and make the messenger more public facing for folks who aren't subscribed to it.
Yeah, well,
Um,
have you seen the Monson website?
I was not at the last meeting
right,
because
there's some
were
homework.
traveling. So
Go, there's some homework for you, Andy. Go look at the Monson website and you get an idea of sort of what we're after. It's hard to describe, but it basically is a super inviting website for people who are not necessarily year-round residents.
you're talking about the town website, Monson,
Yep.
Maine.
Yep,
Okay.
it might, if you, I believe, is that the website that's 2-in-1? Like really,
I have it pulled up now, monsonmaine.org.
yes.
Okay. I'll take a look at this.
yeah, poke around. I mean, there's
I can already see just that it's much more tourist and visitor oriented than the Monmouth Town website.
exactly.
Which is typical of a municipal website, right? I mean, and it is the Monmouth Messenger, so that we all know.
Messenger.
The Monmouth Messenger.
Come on, Doug,
But-
get it straight.
These are updates from different municipal departments to help community members better understand what's happening, which is great. And so the question is, would it be beneficial to have a more outward facing presence for summer visitors, for winter visitors? Again, I think Monson also throws in some business, touches along with whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the Monson website to the Trails Committee, right? Because we did a survey of folks at the last election in November. And part of that survey indicated that there were a bunch of people who don't really know what the town has to offer for trails. There are a lot of people, like 30–40% of voting people. That's not even visitors. That's just people who are voting. Who don't really, don't know that there's a cross-country skiing trail. That's like pretty elaborate. I mean, it's got miles and miles of cross-country skiing. There's And so we were talking about like, how do you make people aware? How do you promote this? And I'm like, that sounds like something that belongs on a Monson website.
So why don't we, I mean, this is like next steps, sorry, I'm going to next bullet, but, I mean, maybe it's a coordinator of like, whoever's planning this website to be like, instead of us saying, okay, what do they want from us? As opposed to like, we have these 50 groups or whatever, say what they want, but also so that the marketing can kind of say, well, this is how you can make it more succinct. So maybe engaging with them from the start as opposed to, filling them halfway, like, oh, this is, I mean, needs to be at least some effort from the start to get that, but at least they have an approach because they worked with other municipalities and stuff like that. What else, what are we missing? So maybe that's the next step is engaging with like paying somebody to coordinate this as opposed to volunteer.
Well, and I think we've already got some resources. I mean, we've got Reagan who's can do a lot of the organizing and support. We've got Dennis, who is already managing the website. I'm sure if we, asked him to follow the template of Monson or some other great municipal websites around the state, that, that would not take a whole lot of extra effort. And he's a creative dude, so he knows how to sort of make it Monmouth. And then we've got to get some buy-in from the community groups to say, yeah, let me get you some great action shots from the fire department and the fire department museum and, Apple Fest and, all these other, give them each a page on the website. And all they have to do is come to a meeting and have a conversation with Reagan and Dennis about exactly what they might want that to look like. And then provide some content and provide, 3 or 4 beautiful shots. And I don't know, I mean, if we needed to use some TIF funding to hire a web consultant to help Dennis, sort of they sell online all sorts of, templates that are plug and play. You just need to have the content ready to go. So the content comes from the groups, and the hook for those groups has got to be like, we'll get you some free advertising for your event group, whatever. If you're looking for volunteers, like the fair is looking for volunteers. This would be how you can recruit volunteers.
And I think, if we wanted to go that route, what would help is that it could be a page of the website that is like a quarterly rework, like, if Mayfair is coming up, that's, when you get onto this website, this is the, main event, and, then there's always, so those events would kind of rotate, but then there's always like, visit Monmouth's trails, and Monmouth has 7 lakes, and or whatever, and, just kind of highlighting a day in Monmouth, what does that look like?
Right.
Hit Apple Valley Bakery,
Sure. I mean, I think if you went to, here's another couple of groups. There's a lake association for Wilson Pond and Barry, right? Yeah, well, there's also one for Annabescook. And I bet you Annabescook Lake Improvement would want to say something or a link to something.
That's a Cobbessy.
There's one for Cobbessy. Yep.
Not one for Cocktail.
Yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's some opportunity here, but I think if you call it like, I think if you come out the gate and call it an association that requires regular attendance at meetings, non-starter. But if you say, we need some help getting you integrated into our website, so we can get you volunteers, we can market your program, we can broadcast your event. We can do that as part of all of these groups around Monmouth. That would get some interest. And then it's like you only gotta come to one meeting, maybe two, and then maybe you stretch it out to something more when you have something relevant for people to talk about.
That sounds good. And so I think what my next step is coming out of this is connecting with Dennis and figuring out what his capacity is and if it feels like he can, put together a page, for
Yep.
example,
Or not. I mean,
Yeah.
if he doesn't have time to do it, I mean, this would definitely be something we could justify some TIF funding to do.
um,
Small
and-
amount. This is not expensive to find somebody to do stuff like that.
great. Well, this was very helpful.
Cool. All right, other business.
I will say, the only other businesses, I've been reaching out to a few names of people that I've been given for committee to join the committee. I've heard back from one of them. I'm gonna have to follow up with another two. He didn't feel like he could commit at this time, which I very much appreciate in terms of just not over committing. But if any of you have other names of people who you think would be good fits for the committee, business owners, I mean, it doesn't have to be business owners, but just engaged community members who, are able to understand the ways of the town.
The man who lives down on Beach Road, I think he still lives there. You mentioned him in an email, young man.
Oh, yeah, I had reached out to those three people. I don't have their names right in front of me, but
Casey.
Casey's indicated he was the one, and I know his business just opened another
Yeah,
restaurant in Waterville, and so he really didn't feel like
he's
he
spread
could
pretty
do
thin.
this right at this time, but which again, the other one was Katrin, Katrin. Bloom F Flowers, Phillips is the email. And then Chris Taylor.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking.
Oh, okay. So I didn't get a response from him. I don't know if anyone knows him. It's always, I mean, I don't know him. I just sent him a cold email. So if anyone knows him and sees him,
My wife had him for a student. And he's come just, well, quite a long time ago, he used to come to select board meetings and just to see how everything worked.
Mm.
And he was very interested at the time, and he and another young man, but I don't know what he's doing nowadays. You know him? No, Chris Taylor. His mother was a select board member and in the past.
I'll definitely follow up again, because I know how those emails from people you don't know can land, but again, if anyone has other ideas, or if you run into Chris, then, mentioning it would be wonderful.
Any other business? Andy?
I got nothing. I don't know if Katrine will be able to do it. She has a young kid and has the flower farm and does bartending things on the weekend. So, I don't know her super well. If I see her, I will ask her about it though.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Also, of course, my daughter, who has a business that is down the street over there.
Ask her about it,
Yeah,
Catherine.
I mean, she's having trouble with getting to the Trails Committee's meetings.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll ask her.
Great.
So, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
We are adjourned. It is 7:48,
50? No,
6:50.
6:48, 6:50. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Andy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Sorry I couldn't be there. I'll try to be there next
Oh.
week.
All good.